Garden update 24th of March 2026. A little side garden here. Fair few weeds in it, but most of this is actually the gladioli sort of standing up. Obviously they've bloomed and gone over. Actually, no, that one's actually currently in the process. Actually, that's not too bad. Recently I was quite fortunate in that I found a local person who was getting rid of some manure. I went around to their place. It turned out they're only about 3 minutes away, and then they gave me the bonus option of being able to fill up their trailer, and they actually dropped it around. So I used this space here, again, ignore the weeds, and I was able to use the pallet to then make a slope to fill the compost. So I've now been topped up. Anyway, we'll go around the front. So the Australian natives are doing quite well. I'll actually have to trim that down a bit. Good. This fruit tree of unknown variety seems to be growing quite well. A number of the plants here also doing quite well. The lavender's starting to expand a bit and get a bit bigger, which is good. Nice pop of colour there. It's flaring a bit on the phone. See if you could. Yeah, it's not quite that bright, but anyway. The amaranth is doing exceptionally well. I'll probably actually trim that back too. You can see the sunflowers probably getting close to the point where they might need to be sort of cut back a bit, but yeah, they're still providing a nice bit of size. Cosmos is doing quite nicely there. The snapdragon also nice, and then we have some weeds and things that you can just ignore if you want. That's totally fine. Over this way, lavender bush. I have had a couple of people ask now if I cut them back. I tend to actually just let them go unless they're kind of getting in the way. So I've just got the driveway there. If it was growing out that way, I'd cut it back. And the one over there, I've cut back a little bit in parts as well. Here's some of that manure. I've been able to actually fertilise the lemon tree, which is good because I kind of neglected it. And the same thing over here with my apple tree grown from seed, but here I've actually put the mulch of the lawn clippings on top of it because that's been working quite well. Like this spot here where the lime tree was, it's now dried out now, but the soil that was there was actually quite nice. Now the extended side bed, still doing quite well. Most of these are alright. And then I saw that one, I went, okay, that one hasn't. That one I think was the marigold. To be fair, I haven't actually watered these too well. Having said that though, that one and that one I think actually came back from looking like they were just about dead, so that's not too bad. This one was on special when I bought it anyway, so the fact that it's actually still got some green to it is actually quite good considering the marigold or whatever that one was is dead. But this one's actually, look, it's not looking great, but it's not actually looking that much worse than it was when I bought it, so that's fine. These two of this variety that's scattered around here, I think there are 6 of them in total. And a quick look. Oh, I know why there's. Hang on, because there was another one. Yeah, there. So there are still 6 of them, and they're all still alive. So we go into the back corner here. Because again, oops, I'm ducking around tree branches. Snapdragons plus hollyhock. And then weeds, ignore those. Moving on. The lupin, in amongst the weeds, is doing quite well. I'll have to get rid of that weed because that one stands out more than, well, not more than the others, but it's compared to the others, it stands out. Apparently, I've provided a food place for some spiders. But anyway, I think I might need to cut the Daphne back a bit, or at least sort of trim it a bit. It seems to sort of become ball-like, really, or spherical. I'm not sure if that's how it's meant to be, but there we go. And then this little front part, again, lots of weeding to be done. I'll get there eventually. Anyway, we'll go around the back. So to a large extent, the garden's kind of quietening down now, and today was supposed to go up to about 28 degrees. It was about 28, 30 odd degrees yesterday, but we're also supposed to be getting little bits of rain over the next 4 or so days, and the temperature's dropping down into the low teens, but we shall see. The geranium, or possibly a pelargonium, not entirely sure, but that's got a nice little bit of colour in the corner. some potatoes. May or may not lead to much just because the soil here is a bit dense. I also have a second cropping of corn plants, which I don't think are actually going to come to much, but I had the seed and I thought, nah, why not? Here, up and over. There's a fruit tree here. I'm pretty sure it's a fruit tree. It's probably from a stone and not intentional, because I wouldn't put a fruit tree into the veggie patch, but I might transplant it at some point, probably into a pot, just to be able to see what it is before committing to keeping it and putting it somewhere. A number of leeks, I think. Not sure if they're self-sown or not, but either way, I'm in no hurry to sort of move those along. These are pak choi, I think, and they are self-sown, and obviously flowering, so they'll probably be self-sowing some more, which is totally fine, happy with that. Celery there. I'm just going to have a quick look, because this one's self-sown as well. Yeah, you can see, maybe you can see, possibly, maybe not, a slug in there. So the problem I have with the actually, there's a whole bunch of earwigs in there. It's not going to focus. No, not that. Oh, wait, there we go. If we do it that way. So the problem with these is that they get a lot of slug snails and obviously earwigs and things like that, and they kind of poop all over it, and then it makes it not entirely edible, which is a bit annoying, but there you go. Never mind. There's another one in the back there, which is obviously going to seed, and that's fine, so we'll get some fresh plants out of that. Now we have self-sown tomatoes here, so we've got a bunch of cherry tomatoes, which are doing alright. And then, I think I did plant this at some point, but I can't remember, but it's a bit odd, because it's coming up with a big yellow, what I assume to be a pumpkin, but I wasn't sure what sort it is, because I don't remember ordering any yellow pumpkins. However, when I put it into a search thing, one of the things came up suggesting that it was basically a giant pumpkin, and I did purchase a giant pumpkin. It was the 50 kilo one, and given the size of this one now, as my hand size as comparison, I'd say that could actually be the 50 kilo one. So I don't know if that's going to be able to actually grow big enough before the season ends, but there's no harm in leaving it here, and at the very least it becomes compost. Obviously this soil needs to be covered fairly soon, so I'll probably do that with some of that manure. I also have found this very fine looking stuff here, I believe, is the result of ants. And I say that partly because I did actually see some ants in here at one point and sort of roughed it up, so they might be sort of moving in. But anyway, we have a zucchini here, or courgette, still flowering. You can see a little bit of the powdery mildew there. Not particularly fussed about that. Haven't had much off it, but I think it's one of those things that, as gardeners know, you can either have too little or you instantly have too much, so not super concerned there. This bed needs to be redone as well, weeded as well. Story of the garden, really. Excuse me. Also some potatoes there, obviously. These are, I think, leeks, but they might actually be some garlic, because I think I put some in there. Yes, I'm very good at figuring out or remembering where I put things. But anyway, I've got some snow or sugar snap peas there, and I have managed to train the grapevine along here, which is great, because that's one of the main things I wanted to do. I then have to figure out which parts of this I can cut back to neaten it back to the main sort of part, but I'll leave that until a little bit later. But you can see the leaves here are starting to get a bit riddled with yuckiness, as are the grapes, but I've not had much luck with my grapes. And again, it's mostly, I think, just down to the fact that I don't have, well, this one's better than the one on the fence, but it doesn't have enough airiness to it, so it gets a bit mildewy and gross. In terms of big pumpkins, this one doesn't actually have any fruit yet, although it's got the flowers, so it may get there. But in terms of the size of the leaves, they're humongous. So I'm assuming this is also a big one. These leaves, I think, are actually bigger than the ones in the other garden bed, but we'll see how it goes. And I've got my pineapple plant there. I just dropped in a couple of tomatoes. They're from, I think, the Rouge de Maman. They weren't as reddened as that when I put them in there, but they got little bug bites and things like that, so I thought I'm not too fussed about keeping those. More snow peas or sugar snap peas there. Hopefully I can train them up there, but we'll see how it goes. The strawberries are doing particularly well, and they're also sending out runners. Oh, there's a strawberry there. Oh, some more hiding around the that one's actually good enough, excuse me. Very nice. This one I think is actually put down roots there, so that's quite good. Now, so here's some of the roots I'm on. They never really... They've got another one over there actually. I didn't manage to get them held up. So one of the things I need to do next season is to basically put a good proper frame up to hold the tomato plants. But it was a bit of a mixed growing season. I kind of didn't do much and then suddenly did everything. Plus I had all the self-sown ones getting in amongst everything. So better placement and better sort of looking after them. The rhubarb, I've weeded around that, so it's a bit easier to see. And I'm just leaving that to do its own thing at the moment. It's totally fine. The gooseberry bush, which didn't produce any fruit this season, but it has occurred to me that it probably prefers ericaceous soils, so something a bit more acidic. I'm debating if I move that over to what's essentially the fruit garden now, because we've got the yosterberry and there's the blueberry over there. There's actually a blackberry which is self-seeded in here, which I'm debating if I'm taking out because it's probably going to grow rampant, so I might do that. But I do have a cutting of gooseberry in here, so even if I move the established one and kill it, in theory I've got a gooseberry bush here anyway. There's also a sunflower in there and some snapdragons. But back to what I was saying about putting the tomato plants and things on proper structures to grow up. My bamboo looks like it might actually be starting to grow some taller whatever you'd call, I can't think of what they call them now, canes, that's the one. And there's some fresh ones down there, so that might be starting to get properly established and growing properly now, which would be good. I'm getting some little, purple sprouting broccoli here. You can see this plant's actually going to seed as well, but I actually picked some off there. This one was kind of just put here as an afterthought. It wasn't necessarily intended to do much, but the fact that it's growing a little bit there is quite nice. We have another of the fruit trees. This is the one that I did manage to successfully move next to the bench. It's now been fertilised as well, so you can see the nice big pile of manure there. They did mention that they might bring some more around at some point. They said, do you want to just bring them around and we can just sort of scrape it out there? And I said, yeah, that's totally fine. The story behind that was that they had been selling it, but they had a few issues recently that meant they weren't able to sort of shovel it as much. But they suggested that if, when they're, I guess, removing the manure, they put it straight into the trailer, they can do that and then bring it around, and then I can sort of unload it this end. I said, yeah, that's totally fine. I'm happy to do that. So I may get some more. We shall see. So the store-bought Granny Smith also has been fertilised, so that'll be good. This has always produced apples, but not necessarily overly big. Having said that, there's a nice one up there, which I didn't realise was still there. Not huge, but that one's actually about the biggest I've seen on here, so hopefully by giving it some more food, as it were, it might do well. I've tidied up the raspberry here. It's an autumn fruiting variety. It's Chilcotin, I think it's called, something like that. It has not fruited this year. I don't think it fruited last year either. Again, I think it's to do with the ericaceous earth though, so that might get put over there, possibly sort of just on the edge of the thing, and I might also pot it up, so move it from that into there and add some nice soil. Again, another cutting of gooseberry, which I can retain if the other one dies off, so that's okay. The avocado, it's not dead. I can't say the same for the lime tree. I think that might have actually died off, but so be it. It's not the end of the world. I'll just have a quick look here of the pond. liliums, the water lilies, taking over as it tends to do, which is fine. I've got some nice little flowers on whichever one that is, I can't remember. And this one's also got some, well, had some little flowers on it. I should probably trim that back, I'm guessing, but we'll see how we go. Not in any hurry for it, so it doesn't really matter. So, I'll just have a quick. See, it's lost a lot of the green to that, so I suspect that's actually died off. But ho-hum, it was a bit rough all the way through. So, into the greenhouse. Now, I bought myself some more of the Charles Dowding seed trays, primarily because I like the idea of them being the sturdy plastic. I mean, this plastic's not too bad, but the ones you actually get with these terrariums are just absolutely horrible. They're very flimsy and obviously therefore break very easily. But what I have is the hint of a seedling coming up, which is a surprise to me, which it shouldn't be, but it has been so long since I've managed to actually get things growing in these. And I think it's basically been to do with the water levels. Now, you could say, well, yeah, but you should know how to do that, to which I'd say yes, except the problem is in the greenhouse, with the weather we've had over summer, it's fluctuated quite a lot. So initially when I was putting water in, it seemed to be enough, but then by the next day it basically dried out and I wasn't really paying enough attention, so that's on me. And so what I did with these, excuse the person walking past, is I soaked the compost first. I basically sort of let it soak up from the bottom, put the seeds in, and I did give them a little bit of water over the top as well to let them go. And it looks like that might be working because I don't want to overwater them, which has been my other issue, in which then obviously I'm drowning the seed and causing it to rot. This apricot hasn't really grown much. I suspect part of that will be the fact that it's probably going to its dormant phase. So hopefully I can keep that going until next year, because it'd be nice to have an apricot tree again, because I killed the last one by trying to move it at the wrong time. Tomato over there, it fell down. The strings that I was using, as people have said, I think in the past, when trying them in the garden, the jute twine, whatever it is, and this particular twine has actually been there for years, like it's old twine, so it wasn't strong enough to hold up the thing. I think it's degrading as it is anyway. I just kind of let it go. It wasn't the biggest issue. I got my pineapple in a pot. That one was in the ground. Put it in the pot, try and see how it goes. It's looking healthy enough, but I think I need to look into how to get them to grow and actually produce fruit, because I think there's probably something that I'm missing for those. Still have about 5 or 6, 6 bags of manure left there. My 3 bags of self-made mulch, so that's all good. And we shall go and see the other part of the garden, ignoring the weeds, because I said so. Mint there, doing what mint does, which is surviving despite not being looked after very well. Elephantia plant, or whichever one that is. Again, these are actually, I picked these up for free. It was mostly for the pots, so I'm not super fussed about how the plant goes, but it seems to be alright. Probably needs a bit more water, but that's okay. This has been stripped out. I put some kitchen waste on top. I also need to weed it. I think there's some potato plants in there. Otherwise, there might actually be some of the seeds that the birds drop, so I probably need to pick that out. I had some potatoes that I was going to use as seed potatoes, and then kind of forgot about them, so they got a bit mushy, so I dropped those in there. That needs to be refreshed. And then here, I think I actually put, I want to say pumpkins in here, because that's what they look like. I thought they might have been sunflowers, but they look more like they're probably pumpkins, or loofahs possibly as well. I'll let them grow as long as they can. Whatever happens, worst case scenario, they become compost, that's fine. That might be a carrot, because I might have also sprinkled some carrot seeds in there. I can't quite remember. Anyway, ignore. And, I've just noticed something I'll get to in a moment. This thing, again, it cut it right back, and it just grows wildly into the state it is. And again, I can't remember what it's called. It'd be funny if it's called forget-me-not, but I don't know that is it, but maybe, who knows. Got bits and pieces here. This is the first of the fruit trees grown from seed. at some point I'll try and remember to cut it back so it's not growing over the neighbour's fence. They haven't complained about it, but just, I don't want it to be interfering with their garden or anything. I put a bunch of manure at the base of that, so hopefully that can actually fruit next year, but we'll see. But what I noticed is I actually have a little dahlia flower there, which is nice, because this is one that I ended up accidentally splitting at the start of the season, and I wasn't sure how it would go at all, and then it did start putting on some growth, and it grew a flower or two, but it looked a bit sort of not overly great, but that's actually come good, so that's doing quite well. And I mean, that's a small flower compared to what it can do, but it's a flower and I'm quite happy with that. Lovely colour to it, so that's quite nice. It's good. The Hebes, well, it's looking quite healthy actually. I mean, that's quite big compared to what it has been. Coming over here, getting some of these weeds and things, because this whole area needs a weed, but hang on, let's see if I'll at least pull that bit out to tidy it up a bit. This is another one of the lavenders. I've got 3 different lavender varieties. Can't remember the names of them, but I just like the smell of lavender. That's very nice, that one. So that's coming along well, because that's grown again quite a bit. I put some manure down there because somewhere in there, if it's still alive, is an orange tree I was growing from seed, but I don't think it's doing too well. If it is still alive, that should hopefully give it a bit of a chance to grow on. This is the multi-headed sunflower. It's very nice, but obviously it's coming to the end of its time now. We have the big, oh, hang on, that's a, see, there's your benefit from doing basically no dig. Things come out much more easily. That's a big dandelion. Anyway, this is the apple tree grown from seed, or one of them. Obviously there's one in the front yard, there's this one, and then there's this one next to it. I'll get to that weed in the back in a moment. But what's interesting is the shape of this one. You can see it's sort of fanned out with the whole sort of goblet shape, whereas that one, and arguably the one in the front, have done basically just straight up, which is quite interesting. Anyway, while we're here, let's see if we can grab that. Yep, and again, just a little root ball, and that then goes to the garden. I can mow over that at some point, but yeah, much better. And then, look, it's grassy, but it's not as tall, grassy and weedy, so we'll leave that as is. The plum tree, which to be fair is also actually grown from seed, is looking totally fine, and there we go. But that's, speaking of dandelions, are all over the place. It doesn't help when you have a young one who likes to blow the heads of them, and that of course scatters the seeds, but now it's fun, so why not? Anyway, thank you for watching, and happy gardening.